tiny pinch of guilt. Boss, he was stunned for a moment, his tone a bit odd. Why is it such a specific amount? What are you buying? Chu Jinan didn't speak. Boss, he felt awkward for a while by himself, both annoyed and helpless. Alright, fine, I'll transfer it right away. I must have owed you in a past life. The last sentence was spoken very softly, but it still came through the phone. Not long after the call ended, boss, he transferred the money. Not 780, but 1,000 yuan. Boss, he thought to himself, this kid borrowed exactly the amount needed for whatever he's buying. He's probably buying something for his girlfriend. Better transfer a bit more, so his girlfriend doesn't want to buy something else later and he comes borrowing a few bucks from me again. Chu Jinan received the transfer and strode towards the convenience store in the residential area. The convenience store was small. With one glance, he spotted the row of sanitary pads inside. He walked straight to the shelf. Seeing the price tags, he froze for a moment. He carefully scanned all the price tags again. None were over 3 yuan per pack. Where was the one costing hundreds per pack? Finally, his eyes caught the number, 36, on the packaging. His calm expression finally shifted, changing several times. It was the awkward feeling of realizing his intelligence had taken a leave of absence, then just returned. He took out his phone and sent Song Yunfei a message, asking her what brand she wanted. Before Song Yunfei replied, a middle-aged woman walked over. Young man, buying sanitary pads. Chu Jinan's body stiffened. He turned his head. The woman was looking at him with a kindly smile. I've seen you standing here for a while. Don't know which brand to buy. As soon as she finished speaking, Song Yunfei's message arrived. Song Yunfei, anything is fine, whatever, just hurry up. My legs are numb from squatting. Chu Jinan put away his phone and said to the woman, give me the best ones, 36 and 420. Quote. The woman thought for a moment, then handed him 2 packs that didn't sell very well. Her smile remained kind. These are the best in the store. Take them. Chu Jinan glanced at the seemingly cheap packaging, then at the price tag with a handwritten, discount sale, in red pen, and put them back. I want the most expensive ones. As if remembering something, before the woman could speak, he added, never mind, I'll get them myself. Chu Jinan picked out 2 packs himself that looked like they had decent packaging and were also the most expensive. He casually checked the production date. No issues there. Then he went to the front counter to pay. He didn't even take a bag, just strode back to the apartment holding the 2 packs of sanitary pads. He knocked on the bathroom door. A moment later, the door opened a crack, and a fair hand reached out from inside. He shoved the 2 packs into her hand. The moment he touched it, the hand swiftly retracted. 2 minutes later, Song Yunfei emerged from the bathroom, drenched in sweat. There was no air conditioning in the bathroom. Squatting for that while had soaked her clothes through with sweat. Coming out and hitting the cool air conditioning even made her shiver. She returned to the dining table somewhat sheepishly. Let's eat. The food's almost cold. Chu Jinan acknowledged with a sound. Song Yunfei stole glances at him. His expression was unchanged. The sanitary pads he brought in earlier didn't have a shopping bag, so he must have just carried them openly, swaggering back. At the same time, Song Yunfei felt a bit moved inside. Because she had seen it before. A former male colleague's girlfriend asked him to buy pads when she had her period. He felt too embarrassed to go, so his girlfriend wanted to break up with him. He then complained to everyone at the office that his girlfriend was making a mountain out of a molehill and being overly sensitive. And he kept complaining for half a month. It was because of that colleague that Song Yunfei had almost become immune to men. Halfway through the meal, it indeed started drizzling outside. Good thing Song Yunfei had the foresight to have him take Quan Quan out to do its business earlier. Perhaps because of the iced beer she drank, Song Yunfei's stomach kept aching dully. She fidgeted restlessly on the sofa, then moved to the bed. Lying down felt even worse. Chu Jinan finished washing the dishes and came out to see her hunched over, pacing back and forth in the room. What's wrong with you? Song Yunfei waved her hand weakly. It's nothing. After saying that, she continued pacing around the room. Quan Quan also hopped around beside her, thinking she was playing with it. Chu Jinan watched her for a while, then turned back to the kitchen. Over 10 minutes later, Song Yunfei was lying on the sofa, scrolling through her phone, when suddenly a glass was handed in front of her. Song Yunfei looked up. It contained a dark red liquid. What's this? Brown sugar water. Song Yunfei was taken aback for a moment. She got up from the sofa, took the brown sugar water from his hand. The temperature was just right, not too hot. How did you know? Looked it up online. Drink it now. Song Yunfei was touched, almost on the verge of being won over. Thank you. Why are you so nice? However, the next moment, Chu Jinan said expressionlessly, after all, besides being good to you, I don't have anything else to offer. Quote. The flicker of heart throbbing only lasted a second before extinguishing. How does he still remember that? This guy really holds a grudge. He overheard it last time when I was watching that video. That was so long ago, and he still remembers. Song Yunfei felt like the sky was falling. He could remember such a trivial thing until now. Then when he regains his memory and recalls these hard times, Song Yunfei felt like finding a white cloth to cover herself with right now. Song Yunfei forced a smile, held the glass, and bravely drank the brown sugar water. When he took the glass away, Song Yunfei caught sight of the bruise on his arm. Instantly, her body stiffened, and her mind buzzed. That's right, she felt like she had forgotten something. Song Yunfei even forgot about her stomachache. She jumped off the sofa and ran to the cabinet by the wall, squatting down to rummage inside. Finally, she found a transparent glass bottle containing aged medicinal liquor. She had gotten this from Brother Wang next door. Back when they first moved in, Chu Jinan, a big CEO who had never tasted life's hardships, often got injured doing household chores. For example, twisting his hand fixing a pipe, burning himself while cooking, poking his hand with a screwdriver while assembling furniture, and so on. For things he didn't know how to do, he would go ask Brother Wang next door for advice. The two became familiar over time. Later, Brother Wang somehow acquired this bottle of snake wine and gave one to them. Song Yunfei didn't dare to recall further. The more she recalled, the more she broke out in a cold sweat. When Chu Jinan came out, he saw Song Yunfei looking at him with a smile, her face full of eager concern. He paused, suspicious, and walked over to Song Yunfei, seeing the medicinal liquor on the table. Song Yunfei grabbed his hand. Come, sit down. Chu Jinan let her pull him to sit on the sofa. Song Yunfei opened the bottle cap and poured some of the liquor into her palm. She turned her head, took his arm, and pressed her hand against his skin, rubbing it. Tell me if the pressure is too hard. Song Yunfei lowered her head, her palm kneading against his skin. A night had passed, and that spot had already turned bluish-purple. Song Yunfei felt a tiny pinch of guilt in her heart. Chu Jinan looked down at her. Song Yunfei's expression was focused. After rolling around on the bed earlier, her hair was somewhat messy, scattered around her forehead. Chu Jinan spoke, your stomach doesn't hurt anymore. Chapter 62. Where did you get so much money? Song Yunfei said, looking up at the man in front of her, trying to salvage the situation. It doesn't affect applying medicine for you anyway. Besides, care is mutual. No one is obligated to be good to anyone else. I was too tired yesterday and forgot. Please don't take it to heart. Chu Jinan shook his head slightly and withdrew his hand. It's nothing serious. No need for medicine. It'll be fine in a few days. Since your stomach is bothering you, you should rest properly. Song Yanfei gave him a resentful look. She had just managed to distract herself, but as soon as he mentioned it, all her focus went right back to her stomach. Chu Jinan seemed to remember something. He suddenly stood up, picked up the bottle of wine on the table, capped it, and put it back in the cabinet. Then, he took out the medicine box, rummaged through it, found a box of ibuprofen, and brought it to her. Will this make you feel better? Song Yanfei glanced at the medicine in his hand, not sure. Let's try 2 pills and see. Chu Jinan broke off one pill and placed it in her palm, then went to get a fresh glass of water. Song Yanfei held the water glass, took the medicine, and slumped on the sofa to watch TV. Chu Jinan went to feed the dog. Whether the dog food wasn't to its taste or it simply didn't like it, Quan Quan took a few bites and walked away. Chu Jinan went and mixed the leftover food and rice from earlier with the dog food. The little guy ran back and buried its head in the bowl, eating eagerly. And the dog food mixed in, it actually nosed it all to one side, only eating a little bit mixed with the human food. Chu Jinan picked up the dog food bag suspiciously to check the ingredient list but couldn't find anything wrong. Noticing him looking at the dog food, Song Yanfei spoke up, "Don't bother looking. It won't eat that dog food. I've been feeding it our food these past few days." Chu Jinan was puzzled. Why won't it eat it? Song Yanfei shook her head. Don't know. Maybe the quality is too poor. This bag cost 150, Chu Jinan said, with a hint of frustration when mentioning the price. He only had 500 a month, and this little thing was actually turning its nose up at 150 yuan dog food. Song Yanfei found it somewhat amusing. Alright, stop looking. Let's just feed it our food from now on. It'll save money too. Chu Jinan put the dog food back and returned to sit on the sofa. Song Yanfei was browsing TV shows. She couldn't stand the few free cartoons available, so she gritted her teeth and bought a membership. While looking for a show, Song Yanfei specifically checked the cast list to make sure the actress named Xiao Jian wasn't in it before clicking play. Outside, a light rain was falling. Watching TV inside the house was very cozy. If only her stomach didn't hurt. She took out her phone and noted down her period date to avoid this situation next time. The TV wasn't that interesting either, so she started browsing for computers on second-hand websites. She now had over 3,000 in her card, enough to buy a second-hand computer for graphic work. After browsing for a long time, she added a few to her favorites, planning to chat with the sellers properly tomorrow. Sitting beside her, Chu Jinan could hear her occasionally making soft, hiss sounds. After a while, he spoke, "Why don't you go lie down on the bed?" Song Yanfei hummed in agreement, putting away her phone. "Are you still going to watch?" Chu Jinan picked up the remote and turned off the TV. "I'm going to take a shower." "I just applied medicine for you. Don't wash it off." Chu Jinan hummed in acknowledgement but didn't get up. He looked at Song Yanfei, seeming hesitant to speak. Song Yanfei was suspicious. "What's wrong? Is something the matter?" "It's nothing. We'll talk when you feel better." After saying that, Chu Jinan got up and went to the bathroom. Song Yanfei stared at him blankly, leaving a sentence half finished. Was he deliberately trying to keep her up at night? She was like a bird startled by the mere twang of a bowstring now. Every time Chu Jinan kept her in suspense, she felt like she had been exposed. Returning to bed and lying down, Quan Quan was pawing at the bedside again. hopping on its two short legs trying to jump up, but couldn't make it, whining anxiously. Song Yunfei had no choice but to scoop it up. But the little thing didn't come up to sleep. It sniffed around on the bed and finally stopped by Chu Jinan's pillow, biting down on it. Song Yunfei was shocked. She grabbed the pillow. Let go. Do you have a death wish? Be careful or he'll come out and beat you. As she spoke, she kept glancing towards the bathroom. But the more she pulled, the harder Quan Quan tugged, rump in the air, all four legs braced. In the end, Song Yunfei was the victor, retrieving the pillow, but she also heard a rip sound. The pillowcase was torn open, revealing the filling inside. Song Yunfei glared at it, raising her hand to give it a smack. The creature was clever. Perhaps sensing it had messed up, it wagged its tail, curled itself into a ball beside her, and looked at her with big, watery, innocent eyes. Seeing it like this, Song Yunfei's hand, raised midair, couldn't bring itself to strike. A moment later, Song Yunfei sighed helplessly, took off the pillowcase, and went to find a new one to replace it. Bite again and I'll hit you. Song Yunfei put the pillow back and warned the dog with a glare. Quan Quan wagged its tail as if responding to her. Song Yunfei didn't understand. These past few days at home, she hadn't kept it in the cage, and it didn't chew things randomly in the house. Why did it bite the pillow when it got on the bed? Just after she changed it, Chu Jinan walked out of the bathroom. Song Yunfei quickly burrowed under the covers to sleep, hiding the dog under them as well. Not long after, rustling sounds came from nearby, footsteps approaching from a distance. Chu Jinan stood by the bed, looking at the dog curled between them, only its head visible, and then at the pillow, now a different color. A moment later, he reached out and turned off the light. Song Yunfei secretly breathed a sigh of relief for Quan Quan, glad it had dodged a beating. The next morning, when Song Yunfei woke up, the first thing she did was reach to the side to see if she had squashed the dog. Her hand found empty space again. She abruptly opened her eyes and sat up in bed. There was noise from the kitchen. Her gaze shifted to the cage. Quan Quan was sitting inside, looking at her eagerly. Song Yunfei scratched her head. When did it get into the cage? Before she could think about it further, her phone suddenly rang. Thinking it might be her salary notification, she casually picked up her phone and unlocked it. The next second, Song Yunfei abruptly stood up on the bed. Chu Jinan came out carrying breakfast. Seeing her standing on the bed, both angry and upset, he asked, "What's wrong?" Song Yunfei clutched her phone, kneeling on the bed in utter despair. Damn automatic repayment. Even though it was the minimum payment, it still deducted over 1,000 from her. The computer, gone again. But on second thought, if it weren't deducted, she'd have to pay even more for being overdue. Song Yunfei sighed dejectedly, having no choice but to accept her fate. Chu Jinan placed the breakfast on the table. How much did they deduct? 1,050. Have breakfast first. On the verge of tears, Song Yunfei got out of bed, went to wash up, and came back to sit weakly at the small dining table. Only to find a cup of brown sugar water placed on the table. Her heart stirred slightly. She instinctively turned to look at the man beside her. The frustration from the deduction lessened a bit. Thank you. I'm fine today, no need to prepare it for me anymore. MHM. Chu Jinan was silent for a moment, then took out his phone and tapped a few times. Song Yunfei's phone immediately buzzed. She picked it up and saw that Chu Jinan had actually transferred 1,000 yuan to her. She stared at him in shock. Where did you get so much money? Didn't he only have 500 a month? And this month he wouldn't get a salary. It seemed like he hadn't even gotten that 500. Chu Jinan looked slightly uncomfortable. He picked up the water glass on the table, taking a tactical sip, left over from the salary advance last time. Song Yunfei pondered for a moment, then suddenly stood up. Wait a second. She ran back, rummaged in her bag, and pulled out a card. Returning to the table, she handed the bank card to Chu Jinan. You should keep this yourself. Chu Jinan looked at the card in her hand. It was his salary card. He didn't take it. Instead, his brows furrowed. What do you mean? Chapter 63. We can earn more if we spend it all. Song Yunfei said, this is your card, you should keep it yourself. Given his vengeful nature, if he later remembered she had seized his salary card and he had to ask her for his 500 yuan every month, he'd probably want to strangle her. Moreover, Song Yunfei was about to have money herself now, so holding his card wasn't useful. Right now, the goal was to leave as good an impression as possible, whenever possible. Chu Jinyan fixed her with a burning gaze. After a long moment, he slowly spoke, you were the one who said a boyfriend's salary should all be handed over to his girlfriend for safekeeping. Song Yunfei gave an awkward laugh, grumbling inwardly about how many pitfalls the original owner had left for her. She cleared her throat, forcing a smile. I'm just afraid I'll spend it recklessly and end up spending it all on you. Chu Jinyan reached out his hand, but instead of taking it, he pushed the card back. Keep it. Money is meant to be spent. We can earn more if we spend it all. Oh, Song Yunfei was momentarily at a loss for words. Her heart stirred. She took the man's slender hand and slapped the bank card into his palm. Aren't we going to buy a car and a house? If the card stays with me and I accidentally spend it all, what will we use to buy them? Unexpectedly, after she finished speaking, Chu Jinyan grasped her hand and placed the card back in hers. If it's spent, we'll earn more. Do you really think in your heart I can only earn this little money? Song Yunfei was left speechless by him again, unable to find a reason to refute. If she hadn't known his identity in advance, Song Yunfei would have absolutely thought she'd encountered a pig butchering scam. Before Song Yunfei could speak, Chu Jinyan had already changed the subject. Aren't you going to work today? Song Yunfei sat down sheepishly, glanced conflictedly at the bank card in her hand, and shook her head. Zhang Tao gave me a week off, so I can't go to work with you. Chu Jinyan said, that's fine. You're not feeling well, rest properly at home. I'll leave the electric scooter for you. If you go out, you won't have to squeeze onto the bus. What about you? I'll take the bus. Song Yunfei refused his kindness. Forget it, I won't be going out much. You should ride it. Don't go squeeze onto the bus. It's fine, I'm used to it. His words left Song Yunfei speechless once more. Chu Jinyan hesitated for a moment, then added, there's a company dinner tonight. Will you come with me? Song Yunfei shook her head repeatedly. No, you go by yourself. The original owner had gone to his office before and left a bad impression on those people. She wasn't going to go and be laughed at. Then rest well, I'll come back early. After saying that, Chu Jinyan got up, went to the bathroom to change clothes, and left. After he left, Song Yunfei slumped her shoulders, feeling increasingly pressed for time. If the plot hadn't changed, Chu Jinyan had less than a year before he would be taken back. How to get to a safe place within a year? Song Yunfei didn't even have the mood to eat breakfast. She took out her phone to check guides for going abroad. She currently found several ways to go abroad. Tourist visa. Stay duration is very short, not feasible. Business visa. Don't even think about it, not feasible. Only immigration visas and student visas allow for the longest stays abroad. Eliminating the immigration option, all that was left for her was the student visa. Song Yunfei thought she could start preparing. Take the TOEFL, then go abroad under the pretext of studying. That would be the safest. By the time she studied abroad for a few years and came back, Chu Jinyan would surely have forgotten about this matter. So, her main goals from now on were to make money and take the TOEFL. Song Yunfei quickly ate breakfast, fed the dog, washed the dishes, and took Quan Quan out for a walk. While walking the dog, she haggled online with computer sellers. Finally, through her relentless efforts, she successfully closed a deal with one seller. For 300 yuan, she bought a desktop computer with an RTX 3050 Ti, 16GB RAM, 12 cores, a 256GB SSD, 95% new, with a monitor, keyboard, and mouse included. And it wasn't far, so it could be delivered tomorrow. Song Yunfei paid promptly and waited for the computer to arrive. She could finally start doing her professional work. She didn't want to sell this lousy house for a single day more. On the other side, after finishing the meeting, Chu Jinyan returned to his workstation. As soon as he logged into WeChat, Wu Wei sent a string of messages. After going back yesterday, Wu Wei had scraped together another 10,000, so now he had 20,000 in principal. 5,000 of that was stolen from his dad. Unfortunately, he got caught in the act and took 2 whacks with a stick. Now he didn't dare go home. Brother Chu, are you there? I've got the money together, 20,000. A full 20,000. What are we buying today? Just waiting for your word. I got caught by my dad last night while getting the money, took a couple of hits. Brother Chu, whatever you say to buy, I'll buy it, I won't even blink. Chu Jinyan looked at the messages in the chat box and rubbed his temples. He didn't respond to Wu Wei. Instead, he first opened a stock trading app and studied it for a while. After half an hour, he switched back to the chat interface and typed, Jangyong stock, code 60XXX, current price around 8.5, go all in. Wu Wei replied almost instantly, got it, bro. A few minutes later, Wu Wei sent a screenshot. Brother Chu, bought it. What now? Wait for my message. Don't sell a single share until I say so. Understood. Don't worry, Brother Chu, I promise I won't touch it. Chu Jinyan closed the chat box. The internal line phone next to him rang. He picked up the receiver. Xiao Chu, come to my office. It was Manager He's call. Chu Jinyan hung up the phone and got up to walk to Manager He's office. As soon as he entered, he saw Manager He frowning deeply, sighing there. Manager He, what's wrong? Manager He glanced at him and sighed again. There's trouble. The workshop space upstairs that we agreed to rent, the owner won't rent it anymore. Chu Jinyan's brow furrowed slightly. What happened? Manager He rubbed his forehead, saying gloomily, we had it all settled before, were about to sign the contract, but then the landlord suddenly changed his mind. He'd rather forfeit some of the deposit than rent it. I suspect someone's playing dirty. And also, our current workshop lease still has 2 months left, right? The leasing office just called me too, telling us to make plans early, as they probably won't renew. We just signed so many orders, and now this happens. If we suddenly move the factory, I'm afraid it will delay delivery dates. Because many employees were local or from nearby, moving the factory would take time, and after moving, at least half the employees wouldn't follow. Then they'd have to recruit all over again. Going through all that toss would likely delay things for at least half a month, and that's under smooth circumstances. After Manager He finished speaking, the office fell into silence. After a while, Manager He looked up at Chu Jinyan. Do you have any ideas? Chu Jinyan said, Manager He probably already has a guess about who's playing dirty. So, what are Manager He's thoughts? Manager He scratched his hair irritably, sighing there. Chapter 64, Why does it sound familiar? Manager He scratched his hair, his face filled with melancholy and conflict. He looked miserable and remained silent for a long time. Manager He, whatever you are thinking, feel free to speak your mind. After thinking for a few minutes, he looked at Chu Jinyan and said, Little Chu, didn't I call you here to help find a solution? I don't know what kind of history you have with that Liu Moke, but why don't you start by telling me if you have any way to solve this? By saying this, manager he was already being as fair and kind as he could be. He truly liked Chu Jinan and wanted to keep him. If Chu Jinan had a solution, he wouldn't be afraid of Liu Moke. Last year, he had his fortune told, and it was said he would meet a benefactor this year who would help him achieve great success, even take the company public and reach the pinnacle of his life. For some reason, he vaguely felt that this person was Chu Jinan. Of course, if there was no solution, he could only reluctantly let Chu Jinan go from the company. He couldn't risk his entire company for just one person. Between superstition and reality, one had to distinguish clearly at critical moments. Chu Jinan said, "The simplest option is for me to leave. Liu Moke would most likely stop there. This is the most direct and lowest risk choice." Manager his lips moved, but he didn't say anything. Clearly, this was one of the options he was weighing in his heart. Chu Jinan continued, "Of course, if manager he trusts me, you can let me handle this problem. However, for manager he, this carries a great risk. No matter what you choose, I can understand." Manager he looked at him suspiciously. "You have a way to solve it?" Chu Jinan replied, "Solutions are made by people." Manager his mouth twitched. How was that any different from talking nonsense? Chu Jinan pondered for a moment and added, "If I can't solve it within 5 days, I'll leave on my own." Hearing this, manager he immediately slapped the table. "Deal, we'll do as you say. But what do you plan to do? Tell me, so I have some idea of what to expect." Chu Jinan said, "Kengcheng doesn't have only this one industrial zone. Manager he, you should first look at the factory premises in other industrial zones to see if there are any suitable ones. Even if the issue isn't resolved and I leave, he will still have a stranglehold on you as long as you stay in this industrial zone." This was exactly what gave manager he a headache. Unless he moved the factory out of Kengcheng, Liu Moke would still find ways to cause trouble later. But moving away from Kengcheng would lead to the previously mentioned situation, a shortage of labor and delays in delivery dates. And then, manager he asked again. Chu Jinan said, "I'll go find manager Feng first. If he's willing to help, all will be well. If he doesn't want to get involved, I'll think of other ways." I almost forgot about manager Feng. He is Liu Moke's direct superior, but manager he slapped his forehead with a hesitant expression. "Liu Moke is manager Feng's confidant, and you have no relationship with him. He probably won't care about this." Chu Jinan mused, "There's no harm in trying." "Alright then, give it a try." In any case, Chu Jinan had promised that if he couldn't solve it in 5 days, he would leave on his own. For manager he, there was nothing to lose. Chu Jinan nodded slightly and turned to leave the office. After coming out, he gave Wu Wei a call. At that moment, Wu Wei was staring at the stock K line chart, his heart racing along with the stock's fluctuations. Several times when it dipped, he couldn't help but want to sell, but he held back. Right now, the upward trend was very good, looking like it could reach 15 yuan. He couldn't help but want to immediately sell his father's tricycle and invest the money. Just as he was thinking this, Chu Jinan's call came through. Wu Wei immediately answered, "Brother Chu, can I sell now?" "No rush, we'll see before the market closes. First, tell me everything you know about Liu Moke." Wu Wei was stunned. "Well, I'm not that close to him. Just tell me what you know." "Oh, I know his wife is very beautiful. ... Liu Moke's wife was a full 10 years younger than him. If he didn't have money, he never would have been able to marry such a beautiful wife in this lifetime. His wife didn't bother him either, letting him play around as he pleased. He had at least 2 or 3 girlfriends." As Wu Wei spoke, he suddenly slapped his thigh. "Right, Brother Chu, I remembered something else that might be useful to you." "What is it?" I heard from a buddy before that Liu Moke wanted to sneak a batch of substandard building materials into Feng Yu's new real estate development, but he was rejected by manager Feng's people. That guy got drunk and threw a tantrum at the dinner table, cursing out the person in charge and even manager Feng. My buddy even has a recording of it. But he's a coward and didn't dare to blackmail Liu Moke. I can get it for you. That works. Wu Wei shared a lot more, but all of it was heard from his third uncle. His third uncle could be considered Liu Moke's confidant and knew many of Liu Moke's affairs. Whether it was all true was another matter. In a bright and spacious office, Feng Tianhao sat on the sofa and served a freshly brewed cup of tea to Li Miao, who was sitting diagonally across from him. He said jokingly, "As soon as my cousin returns, she buys 10 apartments in one go, and in our own development to boot. Is this some new type of investment?" Li Miao smiled and said with feigned mystery, "Of course. If this investment succeeds, this bit of money will at least increase several hundredfold." Feng Tianhao was taken aback. "Cousin, you're not joking with me, are you?" Li Miao rolled her eyes at him. "Of course not. Would I buy 10 apartments just to joke with you?" Feng Tianhao's expression turned serious. He looked Li Miao over suspiciously several times and asked curiously, "Care to give your cousin a hint?" Li Miao said, "No rush. I'm still waiting for the investigation results from uncle. For now, the fewer people who know, the better." Still keeping me in suspense. Feng Tianhao was a bit unhappy, but since Li Miao wouldn't speak, he couldn't exactly force her. As they were chatting, there was a knock on the door. "Come in." The office door was pushed open, and Liu Moke walked in. He had a smile on his face, and because he was so fat, his eyes were almost invisible. "Brother Feng, you were looking for me." He stood by Feng Tianhao's side with a chuckle, like a well-behaved student. Feng Tianhao glanced at him. "Have you been very free lately?" Liu Moke was stunned. "What do you mean, Brother Feng?" Feng Tianhao said, "Over in Industrial Zone A, someone told me you've been telling the owners that anyone who dares to rent their factory premises to Xinglong is making an enemy of you. Old Liu, since when did you become so capable?" Liu Moke was startled but quickly regained his composure. He had long guessed that someone would complain. After all, with such a big commotion, it would be strange if Feng Tianhao didn't hear about it. Liu Moke immediately began to vent his grievances. "Brother Feng, I didn't want to either. It's really that they were too much. That salesman in their factory is just incredibly arrogant. Just because I honked my horn on the road, he lost his temper and came up and slapped me twice. In all my years in Qingcheng, when have I ever been treated like that?" The more Liu Moke spoke, the angrier he got, feeling his face start to ache again. But then he changed his tone. "It's nothing for me to suffer a bit, but that was on the street. He hit me in front of so many people. Isn't that just like slapping your face, Brother Feng? How could I tolerate that? I already told He Long to fire that kid, but that old fellow He Long didn't take my words seriously at all. He even said he doesn't care about you, Brother Feng. I think he's just received a few orders recently and has forgotten who he is. If we can't even deal with them, how will others look at us? In the future, won't everyone feel they can just ignore you, Brother Feng?" Feng Tianhao's brow furrowed slightly. "Xinglong, why does that sound a bit familiar?" Beside him, Li Miao suddenly looked at Liu Moke. "Xinglong, what's the name of that salesman you mentioned?" Liu Moke recognized Li Miao and hurriedly tried to please her. "He's called Chu Jinan. He's acting like such a big shot. Sister Li, don't you worry, I'll definitely whip him into shape and make him crawl to Brother Feng to kowtow and beg for mercy." Chapter 65. Taking you to relax. Liu Moke spoke in a non-stop torrent, not noticing that Li Miao's face was growing increasingly dark. "Enough." Li Miao suddenly stood up. Both Liu Moke and Feng Tianhao were startled by her shout, especially Feng Tianhao, who had rarely seen Lee Miao so angry. Usually, she was all smiles with everyone, and even if she was angry, she wouldn't show it. What was wrong? Feng Tianhao said, "Miao Miao, are you okay?" Li Miao also realized she had lost her composure. She took a deep breath, and her expression returned to calm. But when she looked at Liu Moke, her gaze was terrifyingly cold. "You, get out first." Liu Moke felt a chill down his spine. Not knowing which word he had said wrong and not daring to argue, he bowed and retreated. After he left, Li Miao sat down and said to Feng Tianhao, "Cousin, go and apologize to Chu Jinan." Quote. Feng Tianhao thought he was hallucinating and asked uncertainly, "Are you saying you want me to go and apologize to that salesman?" Exactly. Feng Tianhao didn't know whether to laugh from anger or amusement. "Cousin, are you too tired? Should I have someone send you back for a good rest?" He felt that what Liu Moke had done was a bit much, and he didn't like Liu Moke abusing connections in a way that affected his own reputation. But he only intended to give Liu Moke a warning. He hadn't planned to intervene in this matter. Besides, he wanted to see what kind of background this person had. If he were truly capable, he would be able to solve it himself. Plus, Liu Moke had been getting a bit ahead of himself over the last 2 years. However, Liu Moke held too much dirt on him. Unless absolutely necessary, he wouldn't personally step in to deal with Liu Moke. If the Chu Jinan really had some kind of identity, he could take this opportunity to let Liu Moke suffer a bit. Even if someone was offended, Liu Moke would be the one to take the fall. What did it have to do with him, Feng Tianhao? But this cousin of his was something else. She wanted him to apologize to Chu Jinan right off the bat. Was she crazy? Li Miao glanced at him and spoke solemnly, "Didn't you want to know why I bought 10 houses? I can tell you now." Liu Moke waited outside for a full half-hour. Although there was air conditioning, it couldn't withstand the amount of fat on his body. He was already sweating profusely and feeling weak all over. Just as he was debating whether to leave first, the office door opened, and Li Miao walked out. "You can go in now." After saying that, Li Miao ignored him and walked toward the elevator in her high heels. Liu Moke stared at her curvaceous figure from behind, cursed, "Bitch," under his breath, then put on a smile and walked into the office. Feng Tianhao leaned back on the sofa, smoking blankly as if his mind were elsewhere. "Brother Feng." Liu Moke called out several times, but Feng Tianhao didn't respond. It wasn't until the cigarette was finished and almost burned his hand that Feng Tianhao stubbed it out and turned to look at Liu Moke. "Old Liu, you are not allowed to cause any more trouble for Xinglong. Do you hear me?" Liu Moke was stunned for a moment, then became annoyed. "Brother Feng, why? It's just a small garment factory. Are you actually afraid?" Before he could finish, Feng Tianhao suddenly stood up. Liu Moke's words got stuck in his throat. Feng Tianhao pointed at his nose and cursed, "I told you long ago to settle personal grudges privately. Don't bring them out into the open, but look at you. Making such a big fuss, as if you want the whole industrial zone to know that you, Liu Moke, are blacklisting a small factory. What, do you think things have been too smooth for you these years and you want some excitement, or do you think you can cover the sky with one hand in Kangcheng?" Liu Moke's face turned red and white as he was scolded. His expression was full of reluctance, but he didn't dare say anything. "I didn't, Brother Feng." Feng Tianhao waved his hand. "Forget it, I can't be bothered to talk to you. Go to Xinglong right now and apologize. If they don't forgive you, you don't need to work here anymore." Liu Moke was shocked, then filled with anxiety. "What? Why, Brother Feng, you are making me apologize to him, Feng Tianhao glared at him, and the rest of Liu Moke's words were swallowed back under that gaze. "Don't think I don't know what you've been up to these past 2 years. If you won't even listen to me now, then I'm afraid my small temple can't accommodate a great Buddha like you. These words scared Liu Moke so much that he broke into a cold sweat, not daring to say another word. He swallowed his anger and resentment, nodding. All right, Brother Feng, I understand. I'll go apologize right now. As Liu Moke left the office, the respectful look on his face was instantly replaced by a sinister one. He felt that Feng Tianhao was only doing this for his own reputation, actually making him humble himself to apologize to a lowly employee. At this moment, besides his hatred for Chu Jinan, he also felt a bit of dissatisfaction and resentment toward Feng Tianhao. The dinner gathering they had originally planned naturally fell through. President He called Chu Jinan aside. Sitting in the passenger seat, he patted Chu Jinan's shoulder. Don't think too much about it. We'll take things as they come. I've been thinking all day and finally figured it out. Even if you leave, Liu Moke probably won't let our factory go easily. Since we've offended him anyway, if we can't beat him, the worst we can do is move. Hearing this, Chu Jinan gave President He a surprised look. President He continued, tomorrow I'll contact Old Lin and the others to give them the orders with tighter deadlines. We'll make a bit less profit, but we'll be doing them a favor. Then, while the contract hasn't expired in these next 2 months, you go look for factory spaces in other industrial parks nearby. You go get things started over there first, and once everything is ready, we'll move directly. President He lit a cigarette melancholically. To say he wasn't angry would be impossible. If firing Chu Jinan could solve the problem, he would have wanted Chu Jinan gone immediately. But firing him wouldn't completely solve the problem. Liu Moke already held a grudge against him. If he fired Chu Jinan now, wouldn't that be like losing the wife and the soldiers? After weighing the pros and cons all day, he came up with this barely feasible plan. Outsourcing orders and moving the factory would at most mean less profit and some wasted time. As long as Chu Jinan maintained a good relationship with those 2 German clients, they would make it back sooner or later. But if he fired Chu Jinan and continued to swallow his pride here, he might not make any money and could even lose more. That's how business is, you encounter all sorts of trouble and difficulties. At times like this, choices are very important. A failed decision means losing the whole game, while a correct one can turn the tide. Without the ability to predict the future, it truly tests a person's boldness and courage. Chu Jinan fell silent. To say he wasn't moved would be impossible. I'm sorry, it's my responsibility. President He waved his hand. Forget it, let's not talk about that. Today, I'll take you to relax. Where to? To Fugui Renjia. Quote? Chu Jinan hesitated. It didn't sound like a proper place. President He reached out and searched for Fugui Renjia on the car's screen. Follow the navigation. Since he had caused trouble for President He, Chu Jinan didn't turn him down this time and started the car. When they arrived, it indeed wasn't a proper place. Footbaths, ear picking, and massages. Chapter 66, Hating Him for the First Time. What are you dazed for? Get out of the car, manager, he urged, then seemed to think of something. Don't worry, I won't tell your girlfriend. Chu Jinan brushed his hand away, ultimately not giving manager he face. Go by yourself. Hiss, you kid, are you really that honest? I say, do you have some kind of dirt in your girlfriend's hands? It's just going for a foot massage, not like I'm asking you to solicit a prostitute. Is it that serious? Chu Jinan said, I just don't want to go. You, manager, he was about to say something when his phone suddenly rang. He gave up on communicating with Chu Jinan and took out his phone to answer the call. Not knowing what was said on the other end, manager his expression turned serious. What does he want with me? After a while, manager he hung up and glanced at Chu Jinan. Forget it, no one's getting a massage. Liu Moke went to the factory. Chu Jinan didn't say a word and reversed the car. The two returned to the factory and headed straight for the meeting room. Through the glass door, they saw Liu Moke slumped on the sofa like a giant melting ice cream. His face was sour, looking as if he wanted to kill someone. Manager, he thought he was there to cause trouble, but the moment he pushed open the door, Liu Moke's expression changed like a magic trick, revealing a broad smile. He sat there carelessly without getting up and said with a smile, "If I had known you guys had already finished work, I would have come tomorrow." Manager he and Chu Jinan exchanged a glance, neither knowing what Liu Moke was up to. Manager he laughed heartily. "Manager Liu, why didn't you give us a heads up? I'm truly sorry for making you wait so long. I wonder what instructions Manager Liu has for us." Manager he sat down on the sofa, took out a tea set, and began brewing tea. Liu Moke let out a long sigh. There was a bit of a misunderstanding with this brother Chu of your company, so I wanted to come and resolve the conflict." Manager he was stunned and instinctively looked at Chu Jinan, his eyes seemingly asking what he had done for Liu Moke to suddenly want to reconcile. Chu Jinan also couldn't help but glance at Liu Moke. Manager he snapped out of it and said with a chuckle, "Manager Liu is too polite. Since it was a misunderstanding, it's good to talk it out. Old brother, that joke I played on you before about not renting the factory space, don't take it seriously. I was just speaking out of anger. You should rent that unit upstairs, the price is negotiable." Alarm bells went off in Manager he's mind. Could this guy have some kind of scheme? But on the surface, he could only pile on the smiles. "Oh, Manager Liu, you really are so righteous. With those words of yours, I'm at ease. Come, have some tea, have some tea." Liu Moke also laughed as he took the teacup, and the two presented a picture of harmony. "We can be considered friends made through conflict. From now on, we're all friends. Tonight's on me. I'll treat you to drinks at Jinzun, and we'll consider this matter settled. How about it?" "Oh, Manager Liu, you are too kind." Manager he laughed off the offer, his mind racing. "How could I let you spend so much? Besides, today is really unfortunate. Little Chu and I have an appointment with a client tonight. How about next time?" "Next time, it's my treat, Manager Liu." Liu Moke didn't push it. He laughed twice. "All right then, we'll drink next time. I won't disturb you from meeting your client." With that, he struggled to get up from the sofa and walked out, his flesh wobbling. Manager he hurried after him, seeing Liu Moke to the elevator before returning. He immediately called the owner he had contacted previously to confirm, and to his surprise, what Liu Moke said was true. The other party had actually changed their mind again and agreed to sign the contract. Manager he hung up, looking suspicious. What game is this kid playing? Chu Jinan pondered for a moment. It's likely that someone above him spoke up. Manager he was surprised. Did you call Manager Feng? Not yet. Chu Jinan shook his head. Maybe Manager Feng heard rumors and wanted to protect his reputation, or maybe it's for some other reason. But besides him, no one can make Liu Moke bow his head. Manager he gave an "oh," and his heart, which had been hanging by a thread, relaxed slightly. That's good then. It seems Manager Feng is a sensible person after all. We can rest easy now. Chu Jinan glanced at him. It's better to remain cautious. He came to reconcile on the surface, but it might just be for show. If anything happens at the factory later, he can say it has nothing to do with him. Seeing Manager his constipated expression, Chu Jinan added, "Don't overthink it. At least the factory space issue is resolved. In the short term, he won't dare make any big moves openly." Manager he sighed. "Sigh, it's like having a sword hanging over my head. I'm not even in the mood for a foot massage anymore." Chu Jinan's gaze turned toward the door where Liu Moke had disappeared, a flash of coldness in his eyes. He won't be arrogant for much longer. It was unclear whether he was talking to himself or to Manager he. Manager. He noticed the invisible and indescribable aura about him, feeling a bit creeped out. Since he didn't go to the dinner gathering, Chu Jinan went back relatively early today. He arrived home before 7 o'clock. He fished out his keys to open the door, and as he pushed it open, an out-of-tune song that sounded like wailing drifted out. Who in the vast sea of people has drunk the poison of love? Tilda. When I loved you, you were penniless and studying hard by the window, but after leaving you. Song Yunfei was standing on the sofa, wearing a pale yellow nightgown, holding a rolled-up paper tube as a megaphone, singing and twisting her body. But before she could finish singing, her eyes met the man's at the door. With a look of deep sorrow from being too immersed in the song, her waist twisted into an S shape, she froze right there. Even the puppy crouching at her feet turned to stone along with her. It was as if the world had hit the pause button. With a clatter, the paper tube in her hand dropped to the floor. She hurriedly scrambled down from the sofa, but in her panic, she landed right on her bottom on the cushions. Aren't you at the dinner? Why are you back so soon? She had wanted to watch TV earlier, but the sound of the square dancing outside was too loud. Even with the TV volume at maximum, she couldn't drown out the speakers outside. So, unable to beat them, she chose to join them, using the TV as a KTV screen. After only 2 songs, Chu Jinan was back. After a brief silence, the corners of Chu Jinan's mouth twitched as he suppressed a slight curve. It was cancelled. He closed the door with a normal expression and bent over to change his shoes. Song Yunfei's lips twitched as she looked away, weary of life. She gripped her knees with both hands, feeling completely lost, as if she couldn't find a hole to crawl into. Chu Jinan walked over, bent down to pick up the paper tube she had dropped, and placed it on the table. Continue. Then he turned and headed toward the kitchen, likely to get some water. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. This was the first time Song Yunfei had hated him since she transmigrated. This man was too wicked. She would never love singing again in this lifetime. She grabbed the remote and turned off the TV, but it only seemed to make things more awkward. Chu Jinan came out of the kitchen and asked her, "Have you eaten yet?" Song Yunfei's eyes darted around, making her look very busy. "No, it's still early, I'm not that hungry." Chu Jinan said, "Then shall I cook?" "Whatever. You said before that you'd help me keep an eye on things. Today is perfect. Help me see which step I'm getting wrong." Chapter 67. Can I do something for you? Song Yunfei shuffled and squeezed her way into the kitchen. Chu Jinan rolled up his sleeves, took the pork ribs out of the bag, put them in a basin, and washed them in the sink. Sweet and sour pork ribs, he had made this dish before. Aside from looking good, the taste had been very average. Song Yunfei stood beside him, distracted. The embarrassing scene from earlier kept flashing in her mind, making her feel like she was sitting on pins and needles being in the same space as Chu Jinan. Chu Jinan was quite skilled at stir-frying now. She remembered when he first started learning to cook, he couldn't even get the gas stove to light. The gas stove was of poor quality and required several attempts every time. Even if it did light, it would go out if released the wrong way. Even Song Yunfei felt like cursing at the stove sometimes. Now, Chu Jinan could skillfully light it on the first try and handle the knife with ease. He really did look like a proper house husband. "Is your stomach feeling better?" Chu Jinan suddenly asked. Song Yunfei snapped back to reality. "Ah, yes, it's fine. It's nothing." "That's good." Chu Jinan stopped talking and prepared to pour the ribs into the pot to blanch them. Song Yunfei quickly stopped him. "Wait, no, don't blanch them, it'll make the meat tough." Chu Jinan paused and put the ribs back down. "Then how should I do it?" "Just soak them in a mixture of beer and water for a while. It'll remove the blood and fishy smell while tenderizing the meat." As Song Yunfei spoke, she ran out to get a beer from the fridge. There were many tutorials online, and every method was different. However, cooking relied more on intuition and experience. Sometimes what the internet said wasn't necessarily true. One had to use their own judgment. It took about 2 hours, with Song Yunfei watching him cook the entire time. She finally understood where the problem lay. His control over seasonings wasn't precise. For instance, when adding salt, he would add it several times. There were discrepancies between reality and the ratios in the tutorials. Consequently, some seasonings were added too much or too little, affecting the flavor. When the food was served, Song Yunfei couldn't wait to pick up her chopsticks and try it. The taste was indeed much better. She unhesitatingly gave him 2 thumbs up and praised, "Chu Jinan, you are amazing. You catch on so quickly. You really do have a talent for cooking." Chu Jinan looked at her crescent-shaped eyes. Although his face remained expressionless, his words showed that he appreciated her praise. "Then I'll be the one cooking from now on." Song Yunfei nodded vigorously and then patted her chest. "Then I'll handle the dishes." Chu Jinan placed the rice cooker on the table. "Let's eat." Often, one's contribution isn't measured by who did how much or what they did. Rather, it's that when doing anything, even the most trivial task, the other person makes you feel that doing it is meaningful and valuable. Yet, more often than not, it's these trivialities that are overlooked the most. A passionate burst is simple, but a steady, long-lasting flow is hard to maintain. Because most of life is mundane, even the most intense emotions can be diluted by time. Passionate love is etched in the heart, but the bits and pieces of daily life merge into one's flesh and blood. After finishing the meal, Song Yunfei went to wash the dishes. But Chu Jinan took them from her. "I'll do it. You haven't been feeling well these past few days." Song Yunfei was moved. "I'm fine now. Give them to me." Chu Jinan took them anyway and cleared the rest of the table. "You're such a good person. Can I do something for you?" Chu Jinan paused his movements and looked up at her. "Then sing that song you were singing earlier one more time." Quote. She froze on the spot, her face turning visibly red. Then, she slapped Chu Jinan's arm and glared at him huffily. "Just go wash your dishes." Chu Jinan said no more and silently continued cleaning up. The moment he looked away, a very faint smile seemed to flash through his deep eyes, so quick that Song Yunfei thought it was just a reflection from the overhead light. Looking at his back, Song Yunfei couldn't help but let out a melancholy sigh. She got up to feed Quan Quan, then changed her clothes, preparing to take the dog out for a walk. "Are you coming?" She looked at Chu Jinan as he came out of the kitchen. Chu Jinan gave a hum of affirmation. The two went downstairs and walked Quan Quan in the park near the residential complex. The air still held a lingering heat as they walked side by side on the sidewalk. The streetlights filtered through the leaves on both sides, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Their shadows danced behind them, flickering between light and dark. "It's already August, isn't it?" Song Yunfei suddenly asked. Chu Jinan nodded. Sigh, it's going to be hot for another month or so." Song Yunfei's shoulders slumped. In such hot weather, she didn't want to go out at all. "It'll pass quickly." Great. Now, besides the heat, he had reminded her of the ticking clock. Song Yunfei rubbed her chin and mused. "Chu Jinan, do you think there's any way to earn $1 million in a year?" Chu Jinan tilted his head to look at her. "What do you want to do?" Song Yunfei couldn't exactly say she wanted to run away. She laughed it off. "Oh, guess. Do you want to buy a house?" "Yeah, ha ha ha." Song Yunfei bit her lip, annoyed with herself for bringing it up. She hadn't expected him to still be thinking about buying a house. "I understand." "What do you understand now?" "Earning $1 million in a year. I'll work hard." Song Yunfei opened her mouth, unsure of how to respond. Did he think she was hinting at him? She just gave a couple of forced laughs. Song Yunfei wished she could have the money immediately so they could both be free and he wouldn't have to suffer as much. Before she left, she would definitely make sure Chu Jinan returned home first. Just then, Song Yunfei's phone rang, temporarily relieving her of her guilty conscience. But after seeing the caller ID, she wished it hadn't been relieved. It was Bai Yu calling. Song Yunfei decisively hung up and turned to Chu Jinan. It's too hot, let's head back. Chu Jinan glanced at the phone in her hand but said nothing. Okay. On the way back, Bai Yu called again. Song Yunfei hung up instantly again. She glanced at Chu Jinan out of the corner of her eye and found him watching her. She forced a smile. Telemarketing call. You give telemarketing calls a contact name. Quote. Yeah, I mark them so I'll know the next time they call. Chu Jinan fell silent. Song Yunfei didn't even believe her own words. As they neared the building, the phone rang once more. Song Yunfei took a deep breath. Just let the world end, she was tired. Quan seems to need the bathroom. I'll take him over there first. Chu Jinan held the leash and pulled back the sniffing puppy. Without waiting for Song Yunfei to speak, he led the dog in another direction. Song Yunfei didn't have time for anything else. She took out her phone and answered the call. He was calling so urgently, she didn't know what had happened. Hello, Bai Yu, what is it? Where are you? I've arrived in Qingcheng. Song Yunfei's heart skipped a beat, and she felt terrible. What are you doing here? It's hard to explain over the phone. I'll tell you in person. I'm at your workplace now. Is it far from where you live? Song Yunfei's WeChat name included her work address, so it wasn't surprising he could find her. It was just that as she looked at Chu Jinan under the tree over there, her mind became a chaotic mess. Chapter 68. You're my girlfriend, I'm not allowed to kiss you. Why didn't you send me a message in advance? Song Yunfei felt that the guy was going to misunderstand her for cheating again. Sigh. Bai Yu chuckled. Is Chu Jinan next to you? He doesn't even like you, so why are you afraid he'll misunderstand? Song Yunfei could tell from his playful tone that he was doing it on purpose. Last time he called her late at night, wasn't it specifically at a time when Chu Jinan was there? Before Song Yunfei could speak, Bai Yu added, even if he has feelings for you now, it's only because he's lost his memory. His mind is blank, and you're the only one around him. From a medical perspective, this is called post-traumatic attachment. Even if you were a dog, he would treat you as the most important dog in his life. Song Yunfei was stunned. Those words were far too crude. However, she had been thinking the same thing lately, but she couldn't find the right words to describe it. Bai Yu had actually helped clear up her confusion. But she was still inexplicably a bit angry. You were the dog. You didn't come all this way just to tell me this, did you? Of course not, but I really don't want you to fall too deep and be deceived by the current illusion, or you'll suffer in the future. Don't think of yourself as the only light saving him. When the real sun rises, who will still need an oil lamp? Song Yunfei felt helpless. What exactly do you want? You tell me. These three short words were so loaded with intent that they left Song Yunfei speechless. After a long silence, Song Yunfei finally said, find a hotel to stay in first. I'll come find you tomorrow. Bai Yu was also very direct and smiled. Fine. After hanging up the phone, Song Yunfei turned to look back under the tree. Chu Jinan was squatting on the ground, putting a large wad of tissues into a sealed bag with a look of utter disgust. Unsurprisingly, wrapped inside that wad of tissues was Quan's poop. Song Yunfei walked over to his side and whispered, let's go back. Chu Jinan gave a response, handed her the leash, and turned to throw the trash into the bin. Both were silent, and Chu Jinan didn't ask her who she was calling. After returning to the house, he took Quan to the bathroom to wash its paws and butt, then showered himself and came out wearing his grey pajamas. Song Yunfei opened her mouth but didn't know what to say. She just sighed and got up to take a shower. When she came out, Chu Jinan was leaning against the headboard flipping through a book. The warm light reflected off his calm profile. His stray hairs fell over his forehead, and his slender fingers rested on the page, but his gaze wasn't focused, and he hadn't turned the page for a long time. Even though Quan Quan was jumping up and down beside him, spinning in circles anxiously, he didn't pick it up onto the bed. Song Yunfei walked over and was about to bring Quan Quan onto the bed when her arm was held down by a slender, large hand. She subconsciously looked up and met the man's deep gaze. Let it sleep on the floor. Song Yunfei was momentarily stunned. In all this time, this was the first time she had seen him take such a firm stance. But if it barks, it'll disturb the neighbors. Perhaps because she felt guilty, Song Yunfei's voice lacked confidence. That's because it's been coddled too much. If it can't tell its place, it will only keep pushing its luck. ... Why did these words sound so hostile? It sounded like he was talking about the dog, but also like he was talking about something else. Who was he targeting? Song Yunfei eventually chickened out, brought Quan Quan's dog bed over to the side of the bed, and put it inside. Quan Quan, be good and sleep here tonight, okay? But it didn't seem to understand. It jumped out of the bed again and sat in front of Song Yunfei, looking at her expectantly while wagging its tail. Song Yunfei scratched her cheek indecisively and opened a can of food for it, placing it in front of the dog bed. Seeing the canned food, it immediately forgot everything and trotted over to eat. Song Yunfei took the opportunity to turn off the light and quickly got into bed. Chu Jinan was about to turn off the bedside lamp, but Song Yunfei stopped him. Don't turn this one off. It'll be too dark later, and it might still bark. Chu Jinan tilted his head to look at her. After a moment of silence, he withdrew his hand. He stared at Song Yunfei, and only then did she realize she was half lying on top of him. She hurriedly tried to retreat, but her waist suddenly tightened, and she ended up lying directly on the man's chest. The man lowered his head, and his breath, carrying the fresh scent of jasmine after brushing his teeth, brushed against her cheeks. Song Yunfei felt her scalp tingle under his gaze, and she felt like the flow of her period was even speeding up. Seeing the distance between them closing, Chu Jinan leaned down and kissed her. Song Yunfei instinctively dodged. She really wasn't in the mood while on her period. Let's sleep. You're my girlfriend. Am I not allowed to kiss you? Song Yunfei froze, noticing the dark undercurrents in his eyes. Her lips twitched. She said helplessly, fine, kiss, kiss, kiss. Song Yunfei took the initiative to lean in and gave him a kiss on the lips. Is that enough? If not, I'll kiss you again. She cupped the man's face and pecked his tightly pressed lips several more times. However, on the last kiss, she couldn't pull away. Because the back of her head was held firmly. Their lips were pressed tightly together. She looked up, but before she could see clearly, the man's lips pressed down. Her teeth were forced open, and her breath was stolen away. One hand held the back of her head, fingers sliding into her soft hair, while the other hand was pressed against her lower back, making the last bit of space between them vanish. Compared to the previous 2 times, he kissed quite fiercely, as if he wanted to devour her. They were pressed tightly together, and through the thin fabric, they could feel the temperature of each other's skin and the constant resonance of their hearts. It was as if they had merged into one. The faint yellow glow from the bedside lamp enveloped this small space, but the cold air from the air conditioner couldn't dispel the heat on the bed. In just a moment, fine beads of sweat broke out on both their foreheads and necks. Due to the lack of oxygen, Song Yunfei's head was buzzing. After an unknown amount of time, Chu Jinan finally stopped. As he pulled away, Song Yunfei didn't need him to hold her anymore. She was already slumped weakly against his chest. Chu Jinan looked down at her glistening lips and spoke hoarsely, now it's enough. ... Song Yunfei's cheek was pressed against his firm chest, and the sound of his heartbeat was louder than his voice. She panted, unable to speak, and only lifted her eyelids to give him a resentful look. Chu Jinan raised his hand, tucked the damp hair against her cheek behind her ear, and laid her back on the pillow. Go to sleep. After saying that, he got out of bed and went to the bathroom in frustration. Song Yunfei glanced at the bathroom door and grumbled inwardly, "Serves you right." He knew she was on her period but still insisted on kissing. Now he's the one suffering. Listening to the sound of water from the bathroom, Song Yunfei felt sleepy and drifted off. Half asleep, she felt someone hugging her. He said something in her ear, but she was too tired, and Song Yunfei didn't hear it clearly. Chapter 69. Only I am the best match for you. She even completely forgot about it when she woke up the next day. She turned off the alarm. She had overslept today, and by the time she woke up, Chu Jinan had already left. Song Yunfei finished washing up and came out to find porridge, boiled eggs, and toasted bread on the table. No, it was bread pan-fried in a skillet. They didn't have a luxury like an oven. Song Yunfei sat at the table, but before she could take more than 2 bites, Bai Yu sent her a message. He said he wanted to come find her. How could Song Yunfei let him come over? That would be a complete mess. She told Bai Yu to send an address and that she would go to meet him instead. A moment later, Bai Yu shared a location with her. She hurriedly ate a couple of bites, caught sight of the electric scooter keys on the table, grabbed them, and headed out. The place they agreed to meet was a coffee shop located in the plaza across from where Song Yunfei worked. After parking her electric scooter, Song Yunfei glanced at the prominent coffee shop ahead. Through the glass, she could vaguely see a man in a wine-red shirt sitting inside. She suddenly felt a bit nervous. This Bai Yu only existed in her memories, and this was the first time she was meeting him in person. It felt a lot like meeting an online friend in real life. Song Yunfei stood at the door, took 2 deep breaths, and stepped inside. There were only a few people in the coffee shop at the moment. She wondered if they were plants, as they all had laptops in front of them and looked very busy. Except for the man in the wine-red shirt sitting in the corner. The man wore gold-rimmed glasses and looked refined, but his features held a sharpness within their softness, giving off a distinct, refined scoundrel vibe. The man in the corner looked over at her, a smile spreading across his face. Song Yunfei steeled herself and walked over. "What would you like to drink?" Bai Yu asked. His voice sounded gentle, even a bit like a refreshing spring breeze. But it was all just a facade. From the way he spoke, it wasn't hard to tell that he had a very wicked tongue. Song Yunfei sat down and said absent-mindedly, "Whatever." Bai Yu called over a waiter and ordered a cappuccino for her. "It's been half a year, and you've gotten thinner." Song Yunfei gave an awkward smile. She had clearly gained 3 pounds. Bai Yu spoke words of concern, but his eyes didn't reflect the care one has for a loved one. According to the original novel's description, the reason Bai Yu helped the original owner unconditionally was that she resembled his younger sister who had died young. When Bai Yu was a child, he took his sister to a pond to play, and due to his negligence, she fell in and drowned. Therefore, his kindness toward the original owner was more like making up for the regrets and mistakes of the past, rather than being deeply in love with her. Song Yunfei suppressed her thoughts and got straight to the point. "Why did you suddenly come to King City?" Bai Yu leaned back against the sofa and said with a faint smile, "I was transferred here, of course." "What?" "I told you before that the Chu family had tracked me down, but things aren't quite what I expected." "What's going on?" Bai Yu told her that the Chu family had indeed found him and already knew the truth. However, that person hadn't blamed him. Instead, they had given him a mission, to come here and keep an eye on Chu Jinan. If possible, it would be best if he never regained his memory. Song Yunfei took a sharp breath. She knew it. The Chu family was so powerful, how could they have failed to find him for so long? It turned out someone was pulling strings behind the scenes. Unfortunately, she hadn't finished the original novel, and the plot only started from when Chu Jinan returned. None of these current events were written in it. She quickly asked, "Who is it?" Bai Yu shrugged slightly, indicating he didn't know either. Song Yunfei was silent for a moment, then looked at Bai Yu again. Then doesn't that mean you are staying here? Bai Yu suddenly leaned forward, resting his chin on one hand, and gave an ambiguous smile. Are you saying I'm not welcome? Quote. I was just asking. This was too difficult. Why was everyone harder to deal with than the last? If Chu Jinan regained his memory, he'd probably be even more difficult to deal with than this man. Didn't you tell me before to come clean with him? Now you've come to watch him. Aren't you afraid we'll both be finished when the time comes? Bai Yu said, since someone is covering for us, whether you confess or not isn't important anymore. The reason I agreed wasn't to watch him, but to watch you. Song Yunfei looked at him warily. Why watch me? I told you, I don't want to see you fall too deep. If you get hurt, I'll feel bad too. Quote. Song Yunfei's mouth twitched. If she hadn't seen that there wasn't a trace of love in his eyes, she really would have believed this man was head over heels for her. It really proved the saying that true love cannot be spoken so easily. Song Yunfei said crossly, how do you know I'll be sad? That's even better. Anyway, you'll find out sooner or later that only I am the best match for you. Of course, you could also leave him now and be with me. Song Yunfei couldn't listen to any more of this and rubbed her arms. That's enough. You are giving me goosebumps. Bai Yu gazed at her intently, a hint of scrutiny in his eyes. In the past, when he said such things, Song Yunfei would only feel shy, as well as superior and proud. After all, being liked by an outstanding man was something to be proud of in itself. But only Bai Yu knew that his fondness for Song Yunfei was mixed with many things and was not pure. Furthermore, Song Yunfei would never have looked at him with such a disgusted expression. Bai Yu smiled and withdrew his scrutinizing gaze, saying nothing more. I'm working at the First People's Hospital, in the cardiology and neurology department. If you feel like there's something wrong with your brain, you can come see me anytime. Song Yunfei gnashed her teeth, her patience exhausted. There's something wrong with your brain. Bai Yu chuckled. Then when you're free, bring Chu Jinan over and let me see how he's recovering. We'll see. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Song Yunfei didn't want to stay with him any longer. She stood up and left. Her package had just arrived as well, so she would pick it up on the way. Bai Yu didn't try to make her stay either. With a smile on his lips, he watched her until she left the coffee shop. Song Yunfei hopped on her little electric scooter and sped away from the coffee shop as if fleeing, like there was a ghost chasing her. She arrived at the courier station and gave her pickup code. 2 large cardboard boxes were placed in front of her. She held them, trying them horizontally and vertically, but no matter what, she couldn't fit them on the electric scooter. Just as she was struggling, a gentle voice came from behind her. Do you need some help? Song Yunfei was so startled that her hands shook, and the cardboard box she was holding fell to the ground, nearly hitting her foot. Turning around abruptly, she saw Bai Yu standing behind her, hands in his trouser pockets, his smiling gaze falling on her face through his lenses. Was this guy stalking her? No need. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Song Yunfei froze again. This voice had come from her other side. She turned around again to find Chu Jinan standing on her right at some point, wearing a white short-sleeved shirt and jeans, holding Quan Quan on a leash. Wasn't he supposed to be at work? Chapter 70. Like a dog on a leash. The atmosphere suddenly became very eerie. Song Yunfei didn't even want her packages anymore. She wished there were a way for her to vanish on the spot. Song Yunfei forced a smile. Didn't you go to work? Chu Jinan walked over to her side. Today is Saturday. Although he was speaking to Song Yunfei, his gaze was sizing up Bai Yu. Song Yunfei also stole a glance at Bai Yu. He was very composed, still wearing a faint smile as he allowed Chu Jinan to scrutinize him. Whether in terms of looks or temperament, this Bai Yu was exceptionally well endowed. Compared to the likes of Wu Wei, he was far superior. Any slightly ordinary man standing before him would feel a sense of crisis. After looking at him for a moment, Chu Jinan withdrew his gaze and turned to Song Yanfei. Your friend? Song Yanfei nodded stiffly. Yeah, just a classmate, an upperclassman from elementary school. She originally wanted to say college classmate, but remembering that the original owner had previously claimed never to have attended college, she could only say elementary school classmate. Actually, Chu Jinan and Bai Yu had met before. Right after the car accident, it was Bai Yu who had examined him. However, he might have been so severely injured and disoriented at the time that he had forgotten him. Hearing the words, elementary school upperclassman, Bai Yu couldn't help but chuckle. Song Yanfei glared at him. Bai Yu stopped laughing, but the curve of his lips remained. That's right. An elementary school upperclassman. He even extended his hand. Hello, my name is Bai Yu. Chu Jinan ignored his extended hand. Bai Yu's hand froze awkwardly in the air. He wasn't annoyed, though, he just smiled and tucked his hand back into his pocket. He continued to himself, I just arrived in King City yesterday. Being a stranger in a strange land, I thought of my old classmate. Mr. Chu won't mind, will he? Hearing how he addressed him, Chu Jinan's brows twitched slightly. You know me. Of course, Yanfei often mentions you to me. Chu Jinan gazed deeply at Song Yanfei. You often mention me to others. Song Yanfei's eyes darted around. She was almost unable to keep up the smile. She pretended to squat down and check the package. This computer doesn't look nearly new. I feel like I've been scammed. Bai Yu continued to press. I wonder where Mr. Chu is currently employed. What? She didn't tell you. Not exactly. It's just that Yanfei doesn't seem to be doing very well. You haven't been mistreating her, have you? Chu Jinan fell silent. Bai Yu glanced at the electric scooter with the broken rearview mirror held together by tape. It was already shabby, and now it looked even worse. Yanfei, do you usually ride this to work? Song Yanfei really couldn't listen anymore. She abruptly stood up and glared at Bai Yu. Are you done yet? I'm perfectly fine. I get motion sickness and prefer riding an electric scooter, so what? Bai Yu, don't I know you? It's one thing to fool others, but don't go fooling yourself. You, Song Yanfei really wanted to find a muzzle and put it on him. She knew things would go south if these two met. This Bai Yu was doing everything he could to sow discord, and now Chu Jinan was suspecting her of cheating again. Does no one really care about whether she lives or dies? In a fit of rage, Song Yanfei ignored them both, leaving the remaining cardboard box behind. She hopped onto the electric scooter. I'm leaving. You two can take your time chatting. With that, she slipped away. Since Bai Yu had come with a mission and was an accomplice himself, Song Yanfei wasn't worried about him revealing the truth. At most, he would just be talkative. The feeling Bai Yu gave her was like those videos she used to scroll through, a dog on a leash provoking another vicious dog. Once the leash was loosened, he would run faster than anyone. The more fiercely he provoked now, the more miserable he would be once Chu Jinan regained his memory. In the future, Bai Yu would even be her fellow inmate. Seeing her flee in a panic, Chu Jinan's eyes darkened. Bai Yu clicked his tongue, withdrew his gaze, and looked at Chu Jinan again. In that case, I'll take my leave as well. I'll visit again when there's another chance. After saying this, he pulled a car key, a Mercedes key, out of his trouser pocket right in front of Chu Jinan. Just as Bai Yu turned to leave, he seemed to notice something. He suddenly looked down to see a small dog by his feet, with one leg lifted, peeing on his leg. The gentle smile on Bai Yu's face instantly froze, and he instinctively took a sharp step back. But he was a step too late. A wet streak had appeared on the surface of his polished leather shoes, and a few drops of an unknown liquid were on his pant leg. Quote. Bai Yu looked down at the masterpiece on his shoe, his facial expression faltered, and a vein throbbed slightly at his temple. He looked up at Chu Jinan, his smile now tinged with a hint of anger. Mr. Chu is truly quite the hospitable host. Chu Jinan looked at him calmly and said expressionlessly, next time you come, it can be even more hospitable. Bai Yu didn't know whether to laugh out of anger or amusement. He gave a short laugh and said nothing more. He turned and walked toward the Mercedes by the roadside, shaking his foot before getting into the car. That single movement instantly caused his profound and elegant image to crumble into the pathetic state of an ordinary person. Chu Jinan stood in place, watching the Mercedes S30 drive away before slowly withdrawing his gaze. He looked down at the little dog by his feet. Meeting his gaze, Quan Quan opened its mouth, lolled its tongue, and wagged its tail at him. Song Yanfei moved the box into the house, opened it, and took out the desktop tower. After a careful inspection, there were no issues with the appearance. It was just that the monitor had been left outside the courier station. Thinking of those two, she couldn't help but sigh. She was already living in fear every day, and now Bai Yu had shown up. Life was becoming unbearable. Song Yanfei seemed to suddenly think of something. She took out her phone and first called Chu Jinan. The call connected after a short while, but there was silence on the other end. The silence made her heart skip several beats. She spoke tentatively, Chu Jinan, could you help me bring back the other package? After another moment of silence, she heard him say, okay. Song Yanfei breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, thanks. Good, he didn't seem too angry. She waited a bit longer, sensing that the two of them should have parted ways by now. She then called Bai Yu. Calling me at this time, aren't you afraid he'll misunderstand? Song Yanfei smiled, her tone becoming a bit more attentive. Oh, I'm doing this for your sake. If you get dragged into this, I'd feel terrible. Oh, is that so? Yes, I swear, you helped me, and I'm already very grateful. I can't let you be implicated further. Bai Yu chuckled. Since you know the consequences are serious, why did you do it in the first place? Well, it was a momentary lapse in judgment. Now that the arrow has been shot, there's no turning back now. The line went quiet for a moment before Bai Yu sighed. From your tone, do you have something you need my help with? Song Yanfei gave a sheepish laugh. You caught on already, as expected of you. Tell me, what is it? Lend me some money. How much? Not that much, just around $1 million or so. If you're willing to lend me $2 million, that works too.